And welcome back to my channel. My name is Courtney and I'm a real estate agent in the state of Connecticut. If you're into all things real estate, then be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell notification so you don't miss any new videos from me. Today I'm actually going to be talking about how to get your offer accepted in a seller's market. Now this video can be either for, say, a real estate agent who's trying to get their buyer's offer accepted in this market, or possibly a buyer who's a little scared because they've heard that the market is really crazy and it's geared towards sellers, and they just want to know how to get into the whole process with the right ideas in mind and what processes they'll have to take in order to get their offer accepted and get into the home of their dreams. So if this is something that interests you and you want to hear more, then stick around. I'll be sharing 8 tips for you guys. Alright, so tip number 1 is to keep your offer clean. And what I mean by that is to not have any contingencies and to not make it very complicated for the seller and make your offer weaker. So, for example, you're not going to want to ask for them to include the, fridge if they're not going to include it, or that pellet stove or something like that. You're not going to ask for their personal property. You're not going to say, hey, we want seller concessions, or we want you to pay for our closing costs. Those things are going to make your offer a lot weaker, and you're trying to make your offer stand out as much as possible and make it the most appealing to the sellers, and asking them for more is not a way to do that. So definitely don't ask for any seller concessions or have any contingencies like you have to sell your home before you're able to buy this one. In certain situations it works, but a lot of the times in this market you want to keep the offer as clean as possible with no extra things, just a straight offer with nothing else attached to make it more complicated. Okay, so tip number 2 is to have a strong down payment. So you want to have a strong down payment of at least 20% down. Now, obviously not everyone can put this kind of down payment down, and there are loans that don't require you to put that much down. Maybe you're putting down 3 or 5. But if you have the ability to and you really want the house and you want your offer to stand out, put 20% or more down, because this just shows that you're more secure. Definitely with the appraisals coming in lower than what you're actually offering and saying you'll pay for the house, it's gonna make up that buffer, and also it's gonna show that you're more serious, that you're able to buy, and it just makes your offer more appealing. So my third tip for you guys is to offer a reasonable amount over asking. And why I say reasonable is because I've seen a lot of buyers go in with these crazy numbers that are way over asking, and the houses just aren't worth that, and maybe they won't appreciate. And they're not looking to keep the house for very long, maybe a few years, and it won't appreciate in that time, and it's a poor choice to purchase that home for that amount. So why I say reasonable is make sure it's not something super crazy like $100,000 over asking, but you want to make your offer stand out. Go over asking to a certain extent that you're comfortable with. I never say like, hey, you should offer like this much over asking, but if my client really wants a home, I definitely suggest that they come in with their strongest offer, what they're willing to lose the house for. So if you woke up one day and you saw that the house sold for, say, $28,000 over asking, and you were willing to pay that and you were able to pay that, then you should have, because now you're going to regret that you didn't, because you lost the house because you offered, say, $10,000 over asking, or you offered purchase price or asking price. So definitely you're not going to want to offer less than asking in this market, or even asking if there's competition. So definitely keep that in mind, that you may be paying more for houses these days. The interest rates are lower, but you may be having to pay more for houses than you would have in the past, and more than they're actually worth. However, with all the houses selling for more money, it's a good chance that the comps are going to be higher, and it's gonna even out that way. But I would definitely suggest that to say to your buyers, or to keep in mind if you are a buyer, that you're not really going to be asking for a home under asking. You're not going to get a house under asking the majority of the time in this market. So keep that in mind, that you may have to go over for a home that you really, really want. So tip number 4 is to offer cash if you're able to. Now, I know there are very few people who are going to have the ability to come in and offer a full cash offer, but that's going to be a really strong offer in this market, and most of the time those are going to be accepted. Now, obviously, this is not possible for everyone. It's not possible for me. It's not possible for a lot of my buyers, but if you are going back and forth between, hey, should I pay all cash or should I, mortgage this, then I definitely go the all cash route. You're going to have less issues because you're not getting a mortgage. It's going to be a quicker close. And if you have the option, I definitely say that's the way to go if you really, really, really want a house in this market and you're really set on this one beautiful home that you've fallen in love with, that's the perfect home for your family. That's the route you should go down if you're able to. So tip number 5 is to put in an escalation clause. Now, I'm just talking about Connecticut. I'm not sure if this is something that all states do, but an escalation clause states that you are willing to go X amount over the highest written offer that has been put in on the property up to a certain point. So you're going to want to state the highest price that you are willing to pay for this property, and that's how far you'll go up, but no more than that. But you'll go, say, $5,000 over the highest written offer. So say that the property is listed for $300,000. You offer $300,000, but you're willing to go $5,000 over any offer that's the highest. So say someone offers $320,000, you're willing to go $325,000, but you're not willing to go over $350,000, if that makes sense. So that's gonna help weed out anyone who is close to you and things like that. So it's gonna show that you're also serious about purchasing the property, and it's just gonna give you a better opportunity to go over, and also stating that, like, hey, I'm willing to lose the house for $350,000, and you know that you're gonna get it if the highest offer is $345,000 and you're willing to go $5,000 over. You're gonna get it. You're not gonna wonder what if I offered this. You know for a fact that you're not paying more than that, and if there is a lower offer but it's kind of close, then you're gonna get it for that. If that makes any sense at all. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's something that a lot of agents and buyers have been putting in their offers to make it stronger and just kind of to weed out the competition and have the best opportunity to get the house. So that's another option. I definitely research escalation clauses in your state or just in general to get a better idea of it, because I probably butchered that whole thing and it makes zero sense, but it's something that I'd suggest. So tip 6 is to waive the inspection clause. Now, I don't ever suggest to my buyers, especially if they're first-time home buyers, especially if there's a septic system or a well, all those things, I usually don't say, like, hey, waive the inspection contingency. But this is what is getting people homes these days. This is what sellers are looking for, and that's simply what I'm trying to get across in this video. Not that it's the best for the buyers, so I don't ever convince someone to go and waive the inspections, but this is how you're going to get your offer accepted in this market. Like I said, the least contingencies make your offer stronger. So if you say, hey, we're going to waive the inspection contingency, we're not going to have inspections done, and therefore we're not going to ask you to make any repairs or things like that, and it's going to be an easier close. Now, you could also say, hey, we're going to do the inspections for informational purposes only, so we're not going to ask you for anything. We're still going to get an inspection. If something super bad comes up, then we're either going to say we're going to go for it or we're going to back out. So a yes or no, not asking, hey, can you buy this? Can you fix this? Do that. It makes your offer more appealing, because a lot of times the sellers just want to get out. They don't want to spend extra money. They just want to get out and move on with the rest of their lives and go to wherever they are going next. So that's something that makes your offer stronger in this market as well. So tip number 7 is to add in an appraisal gap clause. So what this means is that you state right off the bat that if the appraisal comes in lower than the offer price, then they're willing to pay the difference. So a huge thing in this market right now is that houses aren't appraising for the values that they're going under contract for. because they're just so much more over asking, and they're already, you know, very high prices, and, you know, the values are just higher anyway, and people are just listing for higher. So it's coming up that a lot of people are finding that the houses aren't appraising. They have to make up the difference between the two values, and a lot of times the sellers aren't willing to go down and the buyers aren't willing to pay the difference, and that's when the deals fall through. But if you want to get your offer accepted right off the bat, and you're willing to pay, you know, more if you have the ability to, for a home that you really want to see yourself in and get into, then, you know, do that appraisal gap clause. That means that you're going to pay the difference between those two values out of pocket, and you're not going to have to worry about the deal falling through because of that not coming in. So basically, say if the house is under contract for $350,000, the appraisal comes in for $320,000, then you're going to pay the 30 grand difference upfront. So not upfront, but the difference out of pocket. So the bank is not willing to loan you the $350,000; they're willing to loan you the $320,000, and you have to come up with the difference. So as you can see, this can save a lot of deals if this clause is in the contract and the buyers are willing to do it. All right, tip number 8 is to have a strong earnest money deposit. So the earnest money deposit is going to be deposited after your offer is accepted. And this is just to show that you're serious about your offer. And if you're giving them a certain amount of money and they could potentially lose it if they back out for no reason, then, you know, they're more likely not to do that if they have, you know, some money invested. So usually I tell my clients to do at least 1% of the purchase price as an earnest money deposit. But like I said, the more you put down, the stronger your offer looks, the more you have invested into this offer, and the more serious you look. So, you know, this is going to come out of your total down payment anyway. So if you're able to have that money up front and put it down, then I definitely think this is going to make your offer a lot stronger. All right, so tip number 9. I thought I only had 8, but we'll give you a bonus. Tip number 9 is to be flexible with the sellers. Don't go back and forth on when they're going to close. Like, if, you know, maybe some sellers are saying they need a certain amount of time before they leave, offer, like, state that in your offer that you're willing to be flexible with the closing dates. You know, that you're willing to, but this goes along with anything. If you are, if you're waiving certain contingencies, if you're willing to just compromise with the sellers, be flexible with their timelines, things like that, it's only going to make it better for you to be accepted, in like asking for personal property, things like that. Just being flexible, that, you know, they're probably not going to want to do that in this market because it's a seller's market. So it just comes down to be flexible with the sellers. Unfortunately, the buyers don't have as much power in this market as the sellers do. So sellers are kind of have that mentality that they're going to get a ton of money, that they don't have to do anything. So definitely, if you come in with that mindset that you may have to be flexible for the sellers, then that's a good mindset to have in this market if you are looking to purchase a home right now. So those are my 9 tips for getting your offer accepted in a seller's market. If you found them helpful, definitely thumbs up this video. Let me know if you liked these tips, and if you have any others. If you're a real estate agent and you have other ways to get your clients' offers accepted, then definitely leave them down below. I'm always looking for something new, and it will definitely help me in this market as well, because I have a lot of buyers who are trying to get their offer accepted. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I have a lot of videos coming up next. I'm actually planning on doing videos Tuesdays and Thursdays during the week. So Tuesdays will be more of like sit down videos, tips, and just chatting, you know, going over certain things. And then the Thursday will be a vlog, so a daily day in my life vlog, or a week in my life vlog, whatever the case may be. That's what I'll do on Thursday. So definitely stick around, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything, and I'll see you next time.